Welcome back to the vlog. You're catching me in a different part of my house than normal. I've been spending a lot of time in bed recently, and I have a little medical situation going on that I'll explain to you at the end of the video. But this session is from mid-December, and it took me a while to get it out just because I didn't feel like doing it. I had more pressing concerns, you might say. Anyway, sit back, relax, enjoy. Here it comes. We're back at Capital Casino in Sacramento, California. It is my favorite place to play. Buy in for the 1-3 game for $500. Take a seat. Don't pick up anything for quite a while. Finally, after maybe 30 minutes or so, I looked down at Ace-10 offsuit. There were a bunch of limpers. I decided to put in a big raise. I want to limit the field to maybe 1 or 2 players, or just take it down here. Everybody folds out, so we steal some blinds and break the ice. I enjoy playing suited connector cards like 9-10 of diamonds. I would even open from under the gun with it, so that's what I did, made it 15. We get a caller from the player on my direct left, then one more caller, and then the big blind decides that he would want to play also. So we're going to go 4 ways to a flop with $61 in the pot. I haven't been very active, so I think I'm going to have some respect when I, raise from early position. Flop comes king, queen, deuce with 1 diamond. So I have a gut shot straight draw and some backdoor flush draws. I decided to go ahead and take a stab at this. As I said, my image should be fairly tight at this point. Most likely someone will call. If someone plays back, I really have to put them on a big hand. Player on my direct left raises instantly to $100. When he does this, I'm thinking he has a hand like king, queen suited. King, queen, I can't even think of anything else. So I just said, yeah, you're good. Your 2 pair is good. And I ended up tossing my cards in the muck. And he ended up showing pocket deuces for the vlog. So he flopped bottom set. Haven't picked up any premiums lately, but Ace-7 suited on the button. Starting to look pretty good after a bunch of limpers. So I raised to 20. I ended up getting a call from the player on my direct left, who's been fairly active, and 2 more callers. So we're going to go 4 ways to a flop with $83 in the pot. So looking for a favorable flop, or at least something that's going to hit my range. Flop comes out queen 7 deuce. So I got second pair, best kicker, and a backdoor flush draw. And all the players ended up checking to me. So if no one really has a queen here, I think I can take this down with a bet. So that's what I do. I put in a wager for 30. And just the player on my left decides to put in the call. Now, as I said, he's been fairly active, so he can have a wide range. He doesn't have to have a queen in this spot. So all the other players fold out, and we get to see a turn card with 143 in the pot, and it's the 6 of clubs. I was really hoping for a spade, but I decided that that's a pretty safe card if he doesn't have a queen. And I really didn't think he had a queen at this point, so I decided I'm just going to go ahead and fire one more bullet at this. And I expect him to fold just about everything that doesn't have a queen in it. And he surprised me when he counts out his chips and decides to make the call. So now I'm really done unless I hit a 7 or an ace. River card comes as a blank 4 of hearts. I don't think there's a need to turn my hand into a bluff at this point. I think he either has a queen or he has a total airball hand. As it turned out, we both had ace-7 and he missed his backdoor flush draw. So we ended up chopping this one up. Finally, we wake up with a premium hand in a small blind with 2 red queens. There was a $6 straddle. A player limps in for 6. One player raises to 18. Another one calls the 18. And here, I just, being out of position, I'm just going to put in a hefty size raise. If I get it down to 1 or 2 players, I'll be happy. If everybody folds, I'll be happy too. I'll pick up an extra 40-something bucks just sitting out there. Anyway, it ends up getting folded around, so we don't get any action on the queens, but that's okay. I'm happy to take down the $43 that was in there, and on to the next hand. Shortly after the hands with queens, I look down at 2 8s in the cutoff. Seems to be a good hand. We have 3 players that limped in, so I raised to 20, end up getting 3 callers. So we're going to end up going 4 ways to a flop with $87 in the pot. Haven't hit anything real hard yet today, and well, it's my turn. Flop comes 9-8-7 rainbow. So excellent flop. I have middle set. I decided to bet half pot. I think maybe I can go a little bit bigger here, but half pot it is, and I end up getting 2 callers for the $40. So we're going to go 3 ways to a turn card with $167 in the pot. Now both these players seem to be, active players. So looking for a blank, and we get the Queen of Spades. So this does put up a backdoor flush draw, and it does hit hands like Queen 10 or Queen Jack that might have took one off. So both players end up checking to me, which I suspected they would. Now it's time to go for some added value. Now, I haven't really showed down anything so far today, so I think they're kind of curious. So I decided to charge the maximum I could on their curiosity. I went for about an 80% size pot bet, and I thought that one of them would definitely put in a call. First player folded fairly quickly, and then the player to my right hummed and hawed for a while. And he ended up saying that he thought that I was out of line, but he didn't want to chase me down. So after thinking for quite some time, he ends up letting his hand go. And even though I don't get any additional value, I'm kind of happy with the bet sizing because I made him think that long, and he's still questioning what kind of hand I had. Finally find a real super premium, and I have a player opening for a raise under the gun in front of me. So I make it 65 with my 2 queens. Looking to get it heads up. It gets folded around to the player in the big blind, who has a habit of Hollywooding like he's going to be making a move and then folding his cards. I don't know why he does it. It really doesn't, affect the game at all other than slowing it down. And this is another situation where he pretends to count out chips and pretends to do some thinking and then just mucks his cards, and then he tries to sneak back his big blind that he had out there. I mean, the dealer was right on top of it, telling him to put the $3 back in. Anyway, finally it gets back to the player who's under the gun, and he decides to put in a raise to $200. Now, there are some players that I would be snap shoving in with queens, and there are some players that I definitely would not be. And he is the one that I definitely would not be. He hasn't been out of line. I haven't been out of line all day as far as these players know. So I really think he has a super premium. He does have a big stack, and it would be nice to double through him. It's going to cost me about $135 to set mine, which isn't the right price. I really should probably just let this one go. But I kind of really want to catch a queen and punish and double through this person because I know he will put his chips in on the flop. So I make what I call a very loose call. We go to a flop that comes jack high, and I am basically dead at this point. I know he's going to be shoving. He thinks about it for 2 or 3 seconds, and then he tosses in the chip, and he goes all in. I can't beat jacks. I can't beat kings. I can't beat aces. I can tie queens, but I don't think he's doing this with ace-king. I mean, his confidence is off the chart. And I'm mad at myself for calling the 135 pre-flop. And I'm definitely not going to put in a loose call at this point, even though some of you are going to tell me I'm a nit. I think it's just throwing good money after bad. So I just have to let this one go and move on to the next hand and try to shake it off. So it's been about 40 minutes since that pocket queen's hands, and my stack has been dwindling down. And there are some players that are putting in a ton of action right now. Player made it a $6 straddle. Guy made it 21 in the dark. And I decided if I had any kind of playable hand in the cutoff, I was going to, put in a raise. So I raised to 60 with 8 queen of diamonds. Not something I would normally do. And of course, the player in the initial straddle wakes up and shoves all in for 200 plus. And the next player also has about 200 in front of him. And I'm thinking, okay, well, for $125 more, I got a chance to win a $600 pot. What am I going to do? All right, let's gamble. And it is a pure gamble. Don't guess it. You'll never guess.
I'll never guess.
It's a piece of cheese.
Oh, shit. Okay, for less, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, Mo, you move into the main game, Mo. You know, long game, Mo.
Nice, nice. Big for less. So everything good.
I was making a move, got caught, and got myself priced in.
All right, we're going to $5 on each side. Perfect.
All right, that's all. Ace is 4 and 3. Ace 3. We'll see.
All right, once again, Omaha players on table 2. We need you back to the table,
See that
please.
one first? Queen.
Well, the biggest piece of cheese wins.
Queen eight.
Mo, we need you back.
So, of course, I'm very happy I won this hand. Very embarrassed about how I won the hand, of course. But, you know, $600 is $600, and I'd rather have it in my stack than somebody else's. So, yes, I do play like a donkey once in a while, and I do get there once in a while. So, I'll take it, put it in my stack, still on my initial buy-in. Let's see if we can run it up and turn it into something more than that. All right, here we look down at Ace King offsuit. I'm on the button. There was a $6 straddle, and 4 people come in for the $6. So I'm not going to mess around here. I'm just going to pop it, make it 50. If I take it down, I take it down. If I get 1 player or 2 players calling, that'll be fine. It ends up getting folded back around to me, and I'm just going to end up winning the $36 of dead money that was already in the pot, which is fine by my book. That's $36 more than I had before, and without too much risk. All right, there is a $3 limp in front of me. I have Queen Jack suited, open for a raise to 15. There was a player who posted $3 behind me who puts in the fold. Player on the cutoff puts in the call. We also get a call from the player in the big blind and also the original limper. So we're going to go 4 ways to a flop with $65 in the pot. Flop comes out really good for my particular hand, but not great for my range. It comes 7-4 deuce with 2 clubs. So I got 2 overs and a flush draw. Sometimes I would bet this, just, betting pure equity. And other times I would check it, especially multi-way. Especially, it really didn't hit my range. So I ended up checking. The cutoff put out a bet for $30. I'm thinking he could have a hand like a flush draw, 5-6, or a pair of 7s. I put in the call. Turn card comes as a 10 of spades. Doesn't really help my hand at all. I check it over to him, and he checks it back fairly quickly, so I'm thinking he's more likely to be on a draw. The river card comes as a 3 of clubs. So I make my flush. I go for the check raise. And as I said, I have a pretty good read on this player, and he bets out for $75, and he did it in a fashion that makes me think he is really, really strong. So here I am. I was going to go for the check raise. He only has like 150 behind. I should probably just stick it in. But I start to level myself, trying to think of what kind of flush draw he might have at this point. He wouldn't do it with a 7, and a flush draw with a 7 or a 10 in it, because he would have had a pair. He would have bet that on the turn. So I'm thinking maybe he had something like King 9 of clubs or Ace Rag of clubs. Anyway, I chicken out. I just put in the call. He turns over 4-3 and end up making 2 pair. So I feel like a complete idiot, and I lost a lot of value on this hand. I'm in middle position, look down at 2 9s, decide to open the raise to 15. End up getting 1 caller for the 15. Player has a fairly short stack and has been kind of sporadic in his play. Flop comes King Jack 9 with 2 clubs. It's definitely a wet board. I got bottom set. I expect to get some action out of this player, so I put in a bet for 20. And he decides to raise to 75. This is great news. I figured I wanted action from him, and he's given me all the action I could want. He only has about another $75 behind, so I kind of asked to see his chips, and yeah, looks good to me. Let's go for it. So I announce all in, and I put out a stack of chips, and he snap calls. I mean, he was like in there so quick. I go, man, do I need help? Turn card comes as a jack. River is a deuce. I show my full house. And he was happy to get it in with King 6 of diamonds. All right. So here's my health story. New Year's Eve, I came down with pain in my kidney. Felt like kidney stones. But because of my history, we were really concerned about it. So we went into the ER room first thing New Year's Day. And they ran their tests. And I was telling the doctors, I hope it's just kidney stones, hope it's just kidney stones. And the test came back, yeah, you definitely have a kidney stone. And I go, well, that's a relief. And he goes, well, it is and it isn't. And I go, well, why wouldn't it be a relief? And he told me that it's a very, very large kidney stone. In fact, it's so large that they cannot break it up with sonic waves. They cannot go up through your penis to break it up and take it out. The only way to get it out is to go through your back and go through your kidney and reach down and that way to get it. And I've had kidney stones in the past, and I've never heard of such a procedure before. But the urologist came in and told me all about it. It said it's about a 4-hour procedure, and there's significant recovery time and all that stuff. So I said, all right, man, well, we got to do it. We got to do it. So let's get it done. And next thing you know, he says, well, yeah, we don't have anyone that can do that. I go, we mean don't have any? Well, all our ORs are booked right now. So the doctor told me to go home and to get on some pain medication and wait until Monday, and they'll give me a call and schedule my procedure. And I said, okay, I guess I can understand that. It's New Year's Day. Maybe they don't have the full staffing they would normally have, but I don't know. I took the medication, went home, got all drugged up, and for the next day and a half, I was in misery. The pain medication didn't come close to covering up the pain. So on the 3rd, went back to the ER, went back in, telling the story why I was there before. A different urologist comes in, tells me a similar story, saying how I definitely need to go through the back to get it out. I asked when that could happen, and they said that they don't have any times open until the 20th. And I'm going, you got to be kidding me, man. That's like over 2 weeks away. I go, I can't be like this for the next 2 weeks. And they said, well, the only alternative we can do right now is we can do part of the surgery now to relieve some of the pressure. So the idea was if they do the first half and put in a tube in my back and help drain my kidney and relieve the pressure on my kidney, and it'll keep my kidney happy and alive and me without the majority of the pain. So I go, all right, well, let's do that. I go, this seems ridiculous. They can only do half of the procedure when you can just spend like an extra hour or two and get the whole freaking thing done. And he goes, well, we don't have anyone that can do that. We only have someone that can do this portion. So I go, okay. So it didn't take long to get me into the OR for that portion. It was probably maybe an hour to 2 hours after our conversation. We get in the OR, they do the procedure. I come out. It wasn't a general. It was just they gave me some stuff to make me lightheaded, and then they used local anesthesia. Anyway, I say later that evening, I didn't have the severe pain I did before. I had to spend the night in the hospital. They sent me home. I had pain meds to help with the discomfort because the kidney pain itself was gone now. Now I just had like operation pain and bladder pain and all sorts of other little pains that I won't bore you with. So I get a call later on from the doctor saying, to give me my scheduling for my surgery on the 20th. And it ends up being on the 28th. So now I have to wait like over 3 weeks for the rest of this thing. Meanwhile, I have a tube in my back. I'm in constant discomfort, and I'm a little bit disbelief. I guess the main issue here is that the operating room's staff is low because of COVID right now, and that different priorities are being given to different types of illnesses and issues. So now that I am, my kidney will be healthy for this time. It's not really an emergency to get me in. So I'm moved way back on the list, and I got on the wait list to maybe if someone canceled, I can get in. And there's been a few people that canceled, and what happens is they replace them with someone who has more urgent need. If someone needs like a bypass, yeah, put them in front of me. I'm not going to stop someone from getting a bypass just because I have some discomfort in my kidney. And so I'm just holding out to the 28th. So I'm told on the 28th, I'll go in for my surgery. They'll do their thing. The doctor told me it's probably going to be a longer surgery than what they normally say, just because of the amount of material they would have to take out. It's basically the size of a AAA battery, with maybe just a smidge taken off the top of the AAA battery. That's how big the stone is that's inside my kidney right now. So hopefully they'll be able to get all that stuff out. I'll still have a tube in my back for a while. I still have a recovery time, probably about 2 weeks. Right now, I'm feeling much better than I did last week. Most of the pain from the actual surgery is gone now. I just have some discomfort. I can't really sit in a car for too long. Any bump on the road really hits you hard. But other than that, I'm doing better. Still pissing blood now and then, but that's to be expected. At least that was what I'm told. So hopefully, end of January, I'll get the surgery. Middle of February, I'll be somewhat recovered, and I can start playing poker again and creating some content, because I really miss doing that. I really miss our back and forth on their channel, and I look forward to getting back into action. So until then, I'll give you any more updates I can when I can. If you don't follow me on Instagram, just look for me on Poker with Doug, and sometimes I'll post something there on Instagram, and you need to send me a message or something. I can get a personal message there that you don't have to worry about everyone else in the world reading. Anyway, until next time, take care, and good luck at the tables.